Hello there everyone. In today's tutorial I'm going to show you how to make this square Kumihimo braid and then adding dagger beads to it. So this is what mine looks like here. So we have a square braid in the middle. I've chosen to use two different colours. So I have the blue colour here going down through the centre of the piece, and also it's the same on the back. And then the black colour that I've chosen are on the sides here, which is then where we also add in the beads. And I'm using that because I'm also using a different cord that's going to help disguise it, that we need to use to add the beads in with, because this satin cord that I'm using for the braid is too thick to go through the beads. So that's what it looks like. And it can look a little something like this on. So you can see it gives a really nice effect of that braid in the middle with those dagger beads going straight out to the sides. And obviously different colour beads and cord will give you completely different looks. Now this bracelet here is about 7.5 inch in the size, so if you want to make it larger, for instance, you would need to use some longer lengths of cord, but otherwise also depends obviously on the clasp that you add. But if you want to learn how to make this bracelet, then keep watching. So these are the materials that I'm using. First of all, here I have my square Kumihimo disc. Now I'm using the square one because I have it handy, but you can easily use a round one, so whichever you have will work for this braid. And then I've got two different colours here of 1mm satin cord. I've got a black one and then I've got a blue one. The black one's going to be on the edge and kind of hide that s-lon as well. And the blue one I've just matched to the beads that I'm using. And then the s-lon I have here is a 0.4mm. So this is the cord that's going to carry the beads. And they are 3 by 10mm dagger beads. So I'm just using this blue iris colour, but obviously you can again choose whatever colour you want to and match it with your cord. And then to finish off the braid, I'm using these Kumihimo ends here. And then my findings I'm going to attach to the Kumihimo ends. So I'm just using lobster claw clasp extender chain with jump rings there. But you can also choose whatever clasp that you want to. So let's get it all together and let's get started. And then we need to cut the cord. So what I have is these 5 lengths here, and they're all 1 meter long. So I have 4 lengths of the satin cord, and I have 2 of each colour there. And then I have 1 length of the s-lon. Then what I've also done is put all the ends together so they're even. Fold them over in half because I need to find where the midpoint is, and then I tie a knot there, and I just put a piece of scrap wire around that to help pull it down through the disc. So then I attach the cords onto the disc here by putting the piece of scrap wire, so the middle of the cords, down through the hole in the center of the disc, and they're coming out of the back. And then we have the cords here distributed onto the disc into the slots. I have 2 next to each other there, in each their own slot, on both sides of the disc opposite each other, and also the same with the other 2 sides of the disc. So we have 4 pairs basically all opposite each other. And because I want my blue colour of these satin cords to be the main feature of the braid, I put them on the top and the bottom side of the disc, and also the s-lon that we added in. I have that, if I can find it here, in the bottom slot on the sides. So that's on one side, and the other one is right here, so just into the bottom slot with that satin cord. And then we need to start making the braid here. I want to start making a section of the braid with just the cord here before I start adding beads in, just so we have a length that we can finish off at the end. What I'm going to do is start with the top cords. I'm just going to start with the left one, release that, bring it down towards the bottom of the disc, and place it into the left slot just on the side of the pair there on the bottom. And then I'm going to take the right one from the top and put it into the slot just to the right of the bottom pair. Now you might find that the middle here kind of moves down because there's nothing here holding against it, but just keep hold of it below the disc. Then, if I can just show you properly here, we have the 2 lengths of cord in the middle. I'm just going to take the left one first of all, doesn't matter really which one you start with, bring that up into the left of the 2 middle slots, and then I'm going to take the right one and just bring that up into the right of the 2 middle slots. So that's now the cords moved to opposite sides of the disc, and then down here you can see we have this little gap. So what I want to do is get them back in, you could say, the original position. So I'm just going to take one at a time and move them 1 slot closer to each other to kind of close up that gap, just like that. And then at the beginning here it just looks a little bit funky because you had that knot in the way, but after a couple of moves it'll start looking proper. So this is those sides. Now I'm going to turn my disc just so it's easier to work with, and I'm just going to keep doing it in the same direction. So I'm just turning it so I have the right side of the disc when we're looking at it properly on the top and the left side on the bottom. And then I'm going to just do the same thing basically. So I take the left one of those, bring that down, stay on the left side. Then I take the right one, which is the one that has the s-lon cord as well. Just bring that with it as if it was just one length of cord, just for now. Bring that to the right side. Then I'm going to take the middle ones. The left middle one goes to the left slot on the top, and the right one into the right slot on the top. Again, that's with the s-lon as well. And same principle as before, we just need to close up this gap, just like this, to get them back in the original position. Then I'm going to turn my disc back again to the beginning, so we have it kind of facing the right way. And now I just want to repeat for a bit. So you could say this was one full round because we've done both sides, but then you just want to start again by taking the top ones first, bring them down, and then the bottom ones from the middle there and bring them up. And then remember to close up that gap. Turn your disc for the other side, and then do the exact same thing. So the top left one comes down, and the top right one comes down, and then the middle ones on the bottom here goes up. So just basically keep swapping places like this, and remember to close up that gap. And that's how they kind of get turned into this braid that locks the braid in place with the cords. So that's just what you want to do for a few rounds until you have a decent length here that we can finish off at the end. So I now braided for a bit here, and you can start to see the braid coming out of the back, and you get this nice square look to it where you just have, in my case, the blue colour on two opposite sides and then the black on the other two opposite sides because of how we placed the cords on the disc in the first place. And now I just want to show you how to add in the beads. So first of all, I'm going to start a new round in the exact same way. So I'm starting with the top and the bottom ones here, in my case the blue ones. Just doing the exact same thing. Bringing the left one to the left side of the bottom and the right one to the right side on the bottom. And then the middle ones up, again staying on the side that they're coming from. So that's the top and the bottom ones moved. Remember to close up that gap. And then we need to turn it to the side. And it's here on the side then that we need to add in the beads. So first of all, I'm going to start with the top left one. That's just the satin cord. Bring that down. And then we need to take the right one here, sorry. And what I'm doing first is actually releasing the s-lon cord just by itself. Then I'm going to take one bead and add that onto this cord. Just get it through the hole, and that's why we're using this cord here, because these beads won't go onto the satin cord, it's too thick to get through the holes. So we're using this s-lon cord as an extra one to just hold the beads basically throughout, and then letting that bead drop all the way down right there into the middle of the disc and making sure it's going to sit there on the side. Now you might find that the bead kind of wants to flop around while we're working with it, but there's not really a way to slot it in right now, so just make sure it drops down there and then place the s-lon cord into the slot on the bottom it needs to go into, and then you can just kind of push it down with your finger there in the middle. Make sure it stays on the side. In this case I'm taking the cord from the top, so make sure the bead stays on the top side there. Then I'm going to take this satin cord from the same slot, bring that down, make sure it goes on the right side of the bead here, and then put that into the same slot on the bottom as the s-lon. So just like that. Then I'm going to take the bottom left one, bring that up into the left slot, and then here the right one on the bottom is also the one we have the s-lon in. So I'm going to take the s-lon first, release that again, and then add a bead onto this one. Get it through the hole. Let that drop all the way down just like before. And now this is going to sit on the opposite side to the other bead. So make sure it drops down on that side there, and again you might just have to push it down with your finger and place it into the right slot on the top. And you can always just kind of push it down again to make sure they stay on the side and they don't fall up on the top of the braid. Then take the actual satin cord there from the right of the two middle slots, Again, make sure it goes on the right side of this bead, so on the outside. So we have basically a satin cord on each side of the beads that we brought over, and then back into the same slot as the s-lon on the top. Now close up the gap, and then we have those beads sitting there on the sides of the braid, and then we can flip our disc around again and start a new round. So you just then want to start from the top, bring them to the bottom, and then take the bottom ones, and you just basically want to repeat this that I just showed you now. So I'm going to be adding in the beads in every single round onto these s-lon cords whenever we move them, and make sure they stay sitting there on the sides of the braid, so they're going to be sticking out towards the sides. So I then continued here adding in the beads until I reached the other end, and then your braid will look a little something like this on the other side. So you can see you have the braid in the middle there with, in my case, the blue on the sides that are showing the most, and then these dagger beads just going out to the sides, giving it really nice effect, and it's going to look nice on the wrist as well. But then here on the end, when I've added in the final beads, I just want to do another few rounds of just the cord, just like we did in the beginning here, so we have that section to finish it off with. And then once you've done that, you just got to get your braid off the disc here, and then you can finish it off using the Kumihimo ends. And I got a tutorial already to show us how to do that if you're not familiar with that. I'm going to put a link to that description box below so you can go and have a look. But you want to get to that point, you finish off the ends as well, and then attach your findings, and then you'll have your finished bracelet. So this is then what the bracelet looks like when it's complete, and I finished off the ends as well. So I added the Kumihimo ends and my clasp and extended chain. So it looks like that. So you have your braid here in the middle, where I have the blue cord that I chose facing outward away from the piece from that middle. On both sides are exactly the same. And then on the sides of the braid we have the black cord, where we then added the beads along the way, and they then stick straight out to the side. So look like that, they give a really nice effect. So it can look a little something like this on the wrist. So you can really see the effect you get from the braid in the middle, with the beads just going straight out to the side. And also because the beads are sitting on the braid fastened in place, but they're still flexible in the position that they're in, it makes it really nice and comfortable to wear, but you still get this really nice look from it. So that's how you make this bracelet. So I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and thank you very much for watching.